Black and white thinking. What is it and how is it holding you back? My name's Annie Henderson. I'm a life coach, and today we're talking about black and white thinking, sometimes called dichotomous thinking, sometimes called all or nothing. It's when we have a cognitive distortion where a person perceives something as entirely good or entirely bad. No room for gray. This can lead to rigid beliefs and unrealistic expectations and evaluations of a situation. It also leads to stress and anxiety, difficulty with problem solving, and decision making. Does this sound familiar? Let me know in the comments. Here are some steps that you can take to work on eliminating this black or white thinking. Number one, recognize the patterns. The first step is having awareness. How many times do you or someone you know use words like always? This always happens to me. Never. This never works out. I'm never the one. I'm never chosen. So these big extremes, always, never, everyone, nobody, right? Everyone hates me. Nobody loves me. Everyone's out to get me. Does this sound familiar? So step one is having that awareness without the self-beating, right? When you're aware, notice it instead of going, gosh, you're so dumb. What's wrong with you? Why can't you figure this out? Instead, give yourself a pat on the back because that is the first step in the right direction. Once we're aware that we're doing these things that we don't want to do, then we can make more intentional choices. The next step is to challenge these thoughts. Check in with yourself. Ask, is this actually what is happening? Is everyone against me? Or do I know some people that are actually on my side? Is everyone in this world a jerk and evil? No, I love this person and this person and this person. They don't fall under this. So start to challenge those big, all-inclusive words that you're using. Next step is to find the gray area. Most situations are complex and multifaceted. So looking between the extremes to find this gray area. For example, one thing I do with my clients is we talk about compassion building, right? If someone cuts you off in traffic, are they immediately a jerk? Do you jump into assumptions about gender or race and why they're driving that way? Do you assume that they're on their phone? So building in this compassion response and just getting curious. What else could be going on with them? They could be rushing to the hospital because someone's dying. They could have just spilled hot coffee all over their lap and they're just momentarily out of it. Has there ever been a time where you have been distracted when driving? One of my clients' favorites that they've come up with is, what if they have diarrhea? They're just rushing, desperately trying to get back. So playing around with this compassion building exercise and finding the gray that is in between the extremes. It takes a lot off of you. It will take down this anger and suspicion down a few notches. And it's a great to getting to that not so much black and white thinking, which will be a peaceful, more neutral state of being for you. Similar to number two, which was challenging the thoughts. This one is examining the evidence. If you were a detective, can you find evidence that goes against your black or white thinking? So the example I gave earlier was, everyone's mean to me. Is that true? When I was a school counselor, I would have students that would come in with this black or white thinking, and they're like, everyone hates me. Okay. Do you think I hate you? No. What about this person? Do they hate you? No. Right? So talking ourselves down off that ledge, and it might take a moment, right? If something has riled us up and our brain just released some chemicals that have us agitated and we're working off our amygdala, all fired up, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, then it might take us a moment to use our tools, to do some box breathing, to calm back down before we can see clearly the evidence that goes against this black or white thinking. Have grace and compassion for yourself during this process. Next up, practice self-compassion. So we talked about compassion for others and examining evidence. Practice self-compassion, because a lot of times this black or white thinking has us being our own worst enemy. We bully ourselves. We are being self-critical. So notice when you start to go down that road. Remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes, right? When we make a mistake, we get stronger and better because we have the opportunity to learn from that mistake and get better and stronger and wiser. So give yourself the gift of grace and self-compassion. It'll go a long way. Next is reframe your language. So notice and be aware of when you're using these black or white terms, this absolute language. So if you say, I always mess up, I'm a screw up, I always mess up. Being able to use a more balanced language, like sometimes I mess up and that's okay, right? You don't have to go to the opposite extreme and in a way lie to yourself by saying, I always mess up, I never mess up, right? You probably won't even allow yourself to go there, right? That's just another extreme. But allowing room for mistakes, right? Mistakes are how we learn. If we look back to the inventors like Thomas Edison, he messed up hundreds and probably thousands of times before he got it right. And he was okay with it. If not, if he would have been beating himself up, if he didn't have self-compassion and this growth mindset, he would have stopped himself. And we all would have felt that impact. So remember to start practicing, even if it slips out first and you say, oh, I always make mistakes. It's not too late to delete and try again. Even if you're around people, that's okay, right? We want support from others. You can say, what I meant to say was, sometimes I make mistakes, and that's okay. Because guess what? That's probably exactly what you would say to that person or your kids or anyone else you love. You would have that compassion for them. So let's turn it around and apply it to ourselves too. You can do this. Next, let's talk about some tools that can help make this a little bit easier. It does take some time commitment and practice, but I promise if you use these tools consistently, it will help you get there. So one of them is mindfulness. You might have heard that a lot and it might not even make sense to you, but being present. A lot of times we're up in our head and we're regretting and feeling guilty about things in the past, or we're projecting into the future and having fears about what's to come. And Skeeter says hi. So mindfulness, right? Being present will help us not overgeneralize, right? We'll get out of our head and into the present and notice, and that will help in that way. Meditation is another tool. It will help get us used to uncertainty and ambiguity. And the more we practice these things, the better we will get in those areas. Let me know if you already have a meditation or a mindfulness practice. Put it down below. If you need more information and you might need a video follow-up, also let me know in the comments. I would love to do that for you. Next up is seek support. You don't have to go at this alone. There's a reason you're on this video right now. It's a struggle, and that's okay that it's a struggle. There's no prize for being the strongest or not needing help in the area of mental health. I honestly think everyone should have a coach or a counselor because we all hopefully want to continue to grow and improve in all these different ways. So I highly recommend, if black and white thinking is something that is if black and white thinking is something that you struggle with considerably, I want you to reach out to a therapist or a life coach so that we can help support you on this journey. A lot of times the people around us might not get it. They might even enable us, or they might make us feel shameful. And when you're on a path to working on stuff that might have been an issue your whole life, sometimes you need that outside perspective and that neutrality, someone that's not invested in your next choice, but that can help you see things a little differently. Feel free to sign up for a consultation call with me. I would love to talk to you more about this. Next is start to practice intentional thinking, flexible thinking. Make it a daily habit to have creative problem solving, not one right answer or one possibility, but be curious. That's a word I use with my clients a lot. Be curious, be open. When we ask our brains empowering, open-ended questions, it lets our conscious and subconscious explore. When we ask ourselves disempowering questions like, what's wrong with me? Then we don't give it much leeway. It has to answer that question, and it will give us answers to support that specific question. So being sure about your language when exploring these different pieces of yourself. And finally, setting realistic expectations. What that will do was it will help us fight the urge to categorize situations or people as all good or all bad. And remember, if we are categorizing others as all good or all bad, we are probably turning that around on ourselves too. So if you can relate to this black and white thinking, do turn it on yourself constantly. Is it making it hard for you to be able to give yourself grace and compassion and move forward because you're constantly judging yourself and others? Join me next week. Like, share, and subscribe, and share in the comments where you are on this journey with black and white thinking. I hope this was helpful.